Good morning.
Good morning. And a good
Welcome
morning.
back. Why you do use good morning? Do you mean that it is a morning that is good? What do you
Good
mean
morning.
that it's particularly a good morning? Hi, I'm Pixel. Welcome back to Pixel for the Pixel Book Club. This is Landry the Wise over here, as you can see him. Yes.
Hello.
He has magically sprouted a beard. And we are going through The Hobbit, 3 chapters at a time. And today is a big day. A big day indeed. Yes. 10, 11, and 12. We've been enjoying our little read through, isn't that right?
I'm not in the spirit of things at all.
No.
I felt here's my thing. These chapters are a problem.
Oh,
there is no wizard in these chapters. So I brought
You brought the wizard
Gandalf has been.
But that's not technically true. Even though he's not really there, we do get a mention of him, which is nice. I'm glad of that.
It's true. But meanwhile, he's busy podcasting. That's where Gandalf is at this moment. It's a story told in another tale. It says that. It's like that tale will not be told in this book.
Yes, you gotta love that. See, it's those little things that I don't think modern writers would ever do. They would never do that.
No, here's the thing: is no publisher would let them. No publisher.
No,
they would say, "We need to know why." Tell us
why. Tell us why. But that's the beauty of it. It makes me feel like I should go ahead and start typing something up, but alas, let's go ahead and get into our first chapter of today, which is A Warm Welcome. Which after, being stuffed in barrels and nearly drowned, the dwarves finally arrive with their hobbit to Lake Town.
So this is we talked about this a little bit last week, in that these dwarves would be dead. And in fairness, they do mention multiple times that
half of them are dead. They're not dead. They're half dead.
Well, they literally mention they required medical attention. Like, it's not a small thing. They are not well.
No.
The people of Lake Town spend time with them. They spend 2 weeks, a fortnight. Is that how long is a fortnight?
I thought it was a week.
No. Echo, how long is a fortnight?
A fortnight is 2 weeks, but
2 weeks. It's a fortnight. They're there for a fortnight.
Maybe because I remember specifically there is a line that says in the first week they went ahead.
Yes.
So
when they're about to leave, when Thorin goes to talk to the ruler of the town, it's been a fortnight at that point, and he's like, "Yeah, we gotta go." And he's like, "Oh, you're actually going, dude?
Good. Okay, be gone." So originally, as I started reading this chapter, as I sat back, went ahead, put on ambient worlds, the Shire. That's my pick of choice. I just love going ahead, and whenever it gets the road goes ever on, and then it drifts into concerning hobbits. Peak, as the kids say. But speaking of songs, I think we have a really good contender for one of the best songs here.
Let's hear it.
When they arrive and they go ahead, Thorin goes ahead and says, "I'm Thorin," and son of, I can't remember, Thorin, son of
Thrain.
Yes.
Or vice versa.
Son of Thrain, son of Thror, king under the mountain, I return. And the first guards are like, "What the hell? Well, take me to the master of your town." And then they go to the master, and he says, "I'm Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thror, king under the mountain, I return." And at this point, the master of the town's like, "I don't know how to feel about this," because they still have elves there. They have wood elves there, and they're like, You escaped! How could you? These are vagabond dwarves. Don't listen to them. But the town explodes.
Right.
And then they have their one piece of music that we get in all these 3 chapters, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the only
Unacceptable. Go back, Tolkien.
Dragon should have had a
Give me
song.
more. The good yes, the king beneath the mountains, the king of carven stone, the lord of silver fountains shall come into his own. Yes, I love this song. It is great. I was thinking that this chapter overall, when we started, because it takes a while for them to actually get out of the barrels. You take like 3 pages of, oh, well, you go ahead, oh, he's half dead and all that.
Mhm.
But then when you get into the meat of this, like going into Lake Town, and they could have probably stayed in Lake Town like the Masters suspected they would for a couple weeks. And just
A couple more weeks, yeah, until people got sick of it and thought, okay, these guys aren't doing anything.
But they have a mission. They have a quest. And it's time for them to go ahead onto the doorstep.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, before we leave Lake Town, one thing I want to say is I always skimmed this chapter as a kid. I was never interested in this community of humans doing their human things and a politician. This is incredibly boring stuff when you're a kid. After you come out of the Misty Mountains, you come out of Mirkwood with giant spiders, you Gollum and the riddles, and it really even this next chapter has got some great tension, and I love it as an adult. But I had trouble with this chapter as a kid. I'm happy to have revisited it in this way because it is a phenomenal chapter.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's pretty.
Oh, I mean, the doorstep is a phenomenal chapter. I like the last one, but this chapter we're getting into.
Oh, really?
I like it.
So
you don't like it?
on the doorstep, I'm not too particularly thrilled. It's the glue between the town and getting into the mountain. I do like Bilbo's moments of like sitting there and thinking, oh, I wish I were home. Oh, I don't really want to be here. Oh, I guess I better go ahead and figure out how the hell we can get into this door. And then he goes ahead and he can find it. And they get through.
I realize that anything less than this would have been anticlimactic. It had to be disheartening. It had to be a like impossible task in front of them. And it's like this is insane. We had a moment see like this is an absurd thing we're doing. There's 14 of us and we can't even get in. Like, what are we doing here? And what is the plan? And it just follows in with the next chapter. But all of it, like the last ray of sunlight, the keyhole appearing, this little bit of magic and wonder in this desolate, like this.
Yeah, because they have the ruins of the town that they go through.
Yeah.
Bilbo with Fili and Kili, and then who else? Not Balin.
I think it was Thorin.
Nope, Thorin stayed behind. They sent 4 scouts. Bilbo.
Maybe it's Balin then.
Probably. I didn't think so, but maybe. But it doesn't really matter.
No.
Because what matters is what happens when he gets inside.
Oh yes.
But I do love this first bit where we get this whole part from Thorin. Now is the time for our esteemed Mr. Baggins, who has proved himself a good companion on our long road, and a hobbit full of courage and resource, far exceeding his size, and if I may say so, possessed of good luck far exceeding the usual allowance. Now is the time for him to perform the service for which he was included in our company. Now is the time for him to earn his reward.
Oh,
and
really?
Bilbo knows exactly what the hell he's doing. He's like, really? Really? If you mean you think it is my job to go into the secret passage first, O Thorin, Thrain's son Oakenshield, may your beard grow ever longer. But then he's like, actually, you know what? I think I will.
I'm going to do it anyway, but
I'm
not
gonna do it
because
anyway.
I've earned it already. This is
Yeah.
this is important because it actually helps set up what happens after Smaug is gone. Not to jump ahead, spoilers for anybody, but Bilbo takes some liberties. And this if without this, liberties come off worse. We need to set up a little bit of like, hey, I've earned more than a 14th share here. I'm in charge now. I am the reason you were here, solely the reason you were here at this point. So maybe step the hell back from this Hobbit. I'm the Gandalf now. Quote me on
Basically,
that's our teaser.
because he thinks about Gandalf often. He wishes he could just appear right there.
Yeah,
But
and yet
little
he's
does he
there all
know,
along.
he's almost here. He's almost
He's
there.
podcasting.
But when he goes in the first time, that's the thing. When he goes in and you have this great description of the Smaug, it's fantastic. And he's asleep. And what does Bilbo do? He's worried about waking him. Takes a cup with just some gold in it and dashes away. And he thinks it's fine.
Yeah.
But the dragon, knowing his hoard to the penny, is fantastic. It's great. Everybody should have that for their dragons. That's how your dragons are supposed to be. 10 out of 10. Great. And then when he actually gets to speak with him, it is one of the best. It's just one of the best scenes. When you have this giant thing. Come out, thief.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Quick. No.
I mean this is the Smaug Bilbo interaction where Bilbo thinks he's being so clever and he gives up so much, and we just see how crafty and intelligent Smaug is very smart, and he's also prideful and arrogant and misses obvious. We know how that plays out, but Smaug plays Bilbo in this, and Bilbo's high on all his victories, and he kind of, this is a little echo of his battle with Gollum, where he gets to, this time he's ready, and it costs a lot of lives.
Well, okay, yes, saying Barrel Rider was the thing that goes ahead and gets him on, like, hey, it's those frickin' Lake Towers.
Smaug was going after Lake Town anyway. Once he tasted those ponies, he would have gone to Lake Town. It was going to happen.
Exactly. So it doesn't make, the fact that they showed up is what happened.
Yeah. But Smaug also figures out there's 14 of them, which is great. Bilbo, not that helps Smaug in any way, but it's just clever. It shows how smart Smaug
is. Yeah, because Bilbo goes ahead and calls himself the lucky number. And that Smaug is like, you might as well say 14. Yeah. At least you admit there is an us. But don't act like I don't know there's dwarves with you.
It's interesting.
I don't know what you are, little thing. But
am I wrong? This is the third time Bilbo is interrogated in some capacity by an enemy. The trolls, Gollum, and Smaug. And he starts off with the trolls just, lots, many, no, none at all. Like, then to, what have I got in my pocket? To the lucky number, the Barrel Rider. Ooh.
I love it, though. It's so good. Yeah. It's so great. Because he doesn't want to get, but he doesn't even, so.
It shows his evolution so well that we see him have these three different comparable interactions where first he's absolutely incompetent, then he just kind of barely holds his own and kind of, okay, and then just dancing around like he owns the place.
I'm sure that you are aware of, like, plenty of legends and stuff that talk about true names, right?
Yes.
True name, everything like that. That's what you get from here. That's really what it is. You don't want to tell a dragon your true name. It doesn't say why. It just expects you to know. You probably shouldn't give the dragon your true name.
And he knows that much.
Yeah. And then we do get the whispers of Arkenstone from Thorin later on in this chapter.
It was too hot to be a wizard. It's way too warm to be a wizard today.
I knew. Yeah,
Um,
no, I understand. It's
so
freaking. It's 90 degrees every single day here for this past week.
I don't know why don't you leave? You don't have to stay there. Leave. There are better places. I'm saying hot. It's like 72.
I know.
I'm like, oh my god, it's 72. I'm going to die.
I like cold weather. I do.
I do too.
Because then I can just dress up in coats and stuff.
It's
Cozy.
it's true. Though you acclimate and then
Yeah.
But I like New York in the winter. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I mean, yeah, this is, and then Bilbo figuring out like his panic about closing the door. We have to close the door, and they do just in time. Um, all of that. I
Yeah,
just
but see, the thing with that is, like, why didn't Smog after that, after he goes ahead and tears in and he's like, well, I don't see them. Hopefully they're dealt with. Why didn't he go back inside, back to that tunnel and blow fire into there?
because he never goes back in.
That's true. He
That's
goes
it.
straight to Lake Town because he thinks about Barrel Rider. And he's like,
Right. Yeah, that's it. He never once he leaves, he actually never goes back in again. So
also,
he probably would have.
yeah. Yeah. And maybe, because in my mind, and I know they have a whole scene talking about it, like going at, oh, you can't go ahead and just sneak up on a sleeping dragon and stab it. You're most likely just going to die. But in my head, I can see a scene of dwarves just all from the darkness. They go ahead and try to pull him down, and you go ahead. You have the Hobbit with Sting right in there. Hopefully, just going ahead and making it. Something might go wrong, but I can picture that in my head.
We saw what happened in the movie when the dwarves fought the dragon.
I know.
And I like those movies, but that third movie, that's from the end of the
No,
second.
I didn't. I never saw the third one.
It's in the end of the second. It's in the end of the second when the dwarves fight him.
I don't remember it. Maybe
we're gonna
in my head because
we're gonna do a rewatch. We're gonna review them.
Oh, I know, because we hate ourselves. But that's
no, you hate yourself. I enjoyed the first two movies. The third one's really bad.
It's gonna be rough. Extended editions, of course.
Now, did you do the extended editions when you watched them?
No, I went to the theaters.
Big difference. Because one of the things they make a point of is, at least in the first two, more singing and feasting. That's pretty much all the special edition does.
That is so. Like, I tried telling my oldest brother, he loves Lord of the Rings, the movies. He tried reading The Hobbit when it was required reading for him in school, and he hated it. So he never bothered reading anything else from Tolkien. And I was like, that's a big mistake. You should go back. He doesn't believe me.
Oh, no. See, I was like, I was one, like we've talked about, the Rankin Bass Hobbit cartoon. I was like 4 or 5 years old when that premiered on TV. So I watched the first airing of it as a child. It was the Thanksgiving specials, basically what it was. They aired it every year at Thanksgiving.
Oh, my oldest brother is much closer to your age.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that because I'm 53. How old is he?
40s.
But I mean, like, wow, you should know he's your brother.
I know, but it's hard to keep.
But here's the thing, because when I was a kid, cable wasn't a thing. There were only like 7 or 8 channels when I was little, and it went off the air at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. TV stopped. There was no TV from like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. to like 7 a.m. Nothing on the air. And so you had this narrow bandwidth of channels. By the time I was like 7 or 8 years old, that started changing. So even a few years younger than me, can it be a radically different childhood?
A different experience, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point I was bringing up with that is, so like he likes those Hobbit movies. He really did. It's like, wow. Maybe
he likes the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
But he didn't like the book. The book is, listen, I enjoyed the movies, but the book is much, much better.
I think he loses it with some of the singing. but that's part of the
well,
joy.
yeah, special edition has not
The
enough,
first time I
but
went
still more.
through Fellowship, and I had to go through Tom Bombadil, I was despising every single moment of it, and then something clicked, and I was like, "Hey, Dole, Mary Dole, Dairy Dole, my darling, this is great." Something unlocks in you when you understand the whimsy that is Mom.
Yeah,
but that's a story. That's not in this tale.
no, that's the tale for another time. So like him going in and sneaking down and finding facing Smog and their pseudo riddling conversation, and Smog really just pumping information out of Bilbo. And then the whole bit, actually, I had forgotten about how Thorin explains that there are limited people alive who can speak the language of the birds. The birds just don't
That's
talk
right.
to everyone. Like, the birds aren't just like, "Hey, guy, how's it going? You see
I
any good bugs
was
around here?"
I was on I actually think my account is still on there, but there was a Discord Lord of the Rings role playing server where you go ahead and you make characters and everything.
Mhm.
And one of the characters I was working on before I pretty much just cut that out was an old raven named Krov that could go ahead and because ravens can, some of them still can
Oh,
speak
yeah.
the common
True.
tongue. So that's what I was working on, and I had a dwarf that was he was the odd dwarf. He liked to travel, but he wanted comfort. He was like a Hobbit-born dwarf. I liked that. That was fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So I do feel like one of the reasons this last chapter of 3, the one where he faces Smog, hit so hard is their middle chapter, that glue chapter, that this is the end of the journey. We're here, we got here. Now what? And then it becomes amazing again. And without that chapter, if they went straight from Lake Town right into, well, here's the door, you go talk to Smog, it would have felt, and it needed to breathe. The story needed to
I
breathe in
know.
that.
I know.
And because of that, I really love it. I love the idyllicness of this little ledge that still exists, of this carved stone, of this old world. Hence, where is it?
Man, those poor ponies, though, right?
Oh, the ponies in Lord of the Rings books never do well. Well, Bill survives, but poor old Bill.
Poor ponies. Because
Um,
Smog's like, I've eaten 6 of them. They taste
Thank
like
you for the
dwarf
point.
was in it on them.
I also love that he has no idea what Bilbo is, and I think that's also getting to one of the reasons why didn't he collapse the tunnel. He didn't really think they were a threat to him. They had his cup, and he did want it back, and he wanted to know more.
Yeah.
He wanted to know what Bilbo was and what was going on.
He was curious, and Bilbo going ahead and being this riddling creature sparked his interest, and he was like, "Oh, I'll
Yeah,
go ahead and play along."
yeah.
Until
I think he was entertained, and the same way Gollum was entertained, and the trolls were even entertained by a degree by Bilbo. It's a common thread again that Bilbo manages not just outwit, but to kind of engage these creatures. So yeah, I think it's a good 3 chapters. Um, now as an adult, but again, the Lake Town stuff for me was so hard to get through as a kid, and yet now I read and go, yeah, good stuff. The worst stuff in the movies, but good in
what do you
this.
mean? No mention of Bard yet.
But we didn't talk about Bard at all.
No,
He's not mentioned yet, is he?
no,
He's
no,
not even a character. He's just
no.
yeah. He just shows
Because
up like
yeah, he'll show up. It's so funny to me though, because every time that they say, anytime you hear the word bard, all I think about is Dungeons and Dragons. All I think about is bards and that. That's all I think about.
I don't think there were bards in Dungeons and Dragons back when I first played, but not of consequence. Just like there were no tieflings, except maybe in the monster manual as a creature you might encounter.
No, not until tieflings were first introduced as in the 90s
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
Planescape.
I started with my Dungeons and Dragons experience started in 1978, I think.
I know.
With the very first run of stuff. It was fun. It was good times. I still have all my original books.
Those are probably worth a pretty penny.
Not in the shape they're in, probably, but
wow.
oh yeah, no, it was. I mean, they're just so much fun. Anyway,
sometimes I do wish that I just, because there are so many like little bits that I look at and I'm like, I really like this line, this quote. I would like to just highlight that, but you never feel good about marking a book. I feel.
I think if you there's so many copies of this book out there. You buy a book just to mark. You are now part of that story. You're. I would owning a copy to mark. Yeah.
That's the thing. If I had another one, I would be doing that, but I don't.
I'm gonna have to send you a copy. I have your address. I assume I'm going to hopefully be sending you a sonic screwdriver after San Diego.
Oh my gosh, if the wrong,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I knew.
I'm hoping.
We'll see.
If they have it there, I'll get one for you. I'm not gonna make that. I won't skip that. So they've had a new one the last 2 years, so it stands to reason, right?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Didn't you send me this one?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yes, I did.
But getting back on topic, which is wrapping this up, we want to thank you. We have just 2 more episodes of this to do?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's 3, and then I guess we'll do 4 chapters for the final part because.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do 3 and then 4.
Yeah.
I will prepare for next week, though we may have to delay based on my schedule.
We'll find out. Nobody's watching anyway right now. We do get a couple comments.
They will come. When they realize how brilliant we are.
One day, they will be searching the depths and they will find us.
I think you need to have the thumbnail this one of me with the wizard outfit. Whoa! That'll bring them in.
We want to thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time, and a good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why you do use good morning for many things.